My name is AJ Nelson, and today on Collision Course we'll be talking about Gottfried Leibniz and his contribution to modern math, science, and philosophy.
I want to buy you something, but I don't have any money. No, I don't have any money. I want to buy.
In philosophy, Leibniz was noted for his optimism, the idea that the universe we exist in is the best possible universe that God could have created. Leibniz is one of the three great 17th century advocates of rationalism. The work of Leibniz anticipated modern logic and analytic philosophy, but his philosophy also looks back to the scholastic tradition. He made major contributions to physics and technology, and anticipated notions that surfaced much later in philosophy, probability, biology, medicine, geology, psychology, linguistics, and computer science. He wrote works on philosophy, politics, law, ethics, theology, and history. Leibniz's contributions to the vast array of subjects were scattered in various learned journals, and also unpublished manuscripts. He wrote in several languages, but primarily in Latin, French, and German. As of 2013, there is no complete gathering of the writings of Leibniz.
In the field of mathematics, Leibniz is credited with the invention of integral and differential calculus, which he published independently of Isaac Newton. His notation for differentials and integrals has been used ever since. His visionary law of continuity and the transcendental law of homogeneity only found implementation in the 20th century. He was also one of the most prolific inventors in the field of mechanical calculators, and while working on adding automatic multiplication and division to Pascal's calculator, he was the first to describe a pinwheel calculator, and he also invented the Leibniz wheel, which is used in the arithmometer, the first mass-produced mechanical calculator. He also refined the binary number system, which is used in at the base level of all modern computers. He's credited with, again, infinitesimal calculus, along with Sir Isaac Newton. And according to his notebooks, one of the biggest breakthroughs in calculus for him was when he used integrals to find the area under a curve for the first time in 1675. He also introduced several notations for calculus, being the elongated S for the integral sign, and the D for differentials. This cleverly suggestive notation for calculus is probably his most enduring mathematical legacy. He didn't publish anything about it, however, until 1684. Second among his most enduring legacies would be the product rule for differential calculus, which is called Leibniz's law. In addition, the theorem that tells how and when to differentiate under a curve is called Leibniz's integral rule. Leibniz exploited infinitesimals in developing calculus, manipulating them in ways that would suggest that they had paradoxical algebraic properties. George Berkeley, the author of The Analyst and De Motu, criticized that idea. And a recent study argues that his calculus is free of, well, not free of, but has less contradictions, and is better grounded than Berkeley's criticisms.
Leibniz contributed a very fair amount to the statics and dynamics emerging around him, often disagreeing with Descartes and Newton. He devised a new theory of motion, dynamics, based on kinetic energy and potential energy, which posited space as relative, whereas Newton was thoroughly convinced that space was absolute. Until the discovery of subatomic particles and the quantum mechanics governing them, many of Leibniz's speculative ideas about aspects of nature not reducible to statics and dynamics made little sense. For instance, he anticipated Albert Einstein by arguing against Newton that space, time, and motion are relative, not absolute. Leibniz's rule is an important step in many proofs in diverse fields of physics. The principle of sufficient reason has been invoked in recent cosmology, and those who advocate digital philosophy, a recent direction in cosmology, claim Leibniz as precursor.